Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of Radar, the podcast that takes you deep into the world of Safran and focuses on its strategic topics. My name is Alexandre Keller, I'm working at the corporate communications at Safran, and I'll be your guide today. And for today's edition, as usual, we'll be taking to the air, but this time we will use soft mobility. Because road transport is not the only way of travel to be going green, the aviation sector is also engaged in a profound transformation, with the aim of reducing its carbon footprint and also finding a useful place for transport in the cities. So, where are we now on this subject? What kind of changes are underway in the aviation industry? What will airborne urban mobility look like in the near future? Whether hybrid or all-electric, what will these new aircraft be like? We will be covering all of these questions with our two guests today. Hervé Blanc, General Manager of the Power Division at Safran Electrical & Power, and Bruno Bellanger, who's the EVP in charge of programs at Safran Helicopters Engines. Let's now buckle up and get going to learn more about these new forms of airborne mobility. So today we have two guests. Hello, Hervé Blanc.
Hello.
As we speak now, recording this podcast, you are the General Manager of the Power Division at Safran Electrical & Power. And hello to you, Bruno Bellanger.
Hello.
You're the EVP in charge of programs at Safran Helicopters Engines. At least, well, these are your job titles for the next few weeks because, Bruno, you're going to be replacing Hervé as head of the Power Division at Safran Electrical & Power.
I will do a few comments. The first one, it will be my fourth company within Safran Group after electronics and defense, aircraft engines, helicopter engines. So it shows one key characteristics of Safran Group, being able to propose to its employees, diversified career path. And this is something very important to me and very important for the people who are listening to us right now. The second point, I know Hervé since a long time. He has made a tremendous job at the head of the Power Division, and I'm particularly proud to succeed Hervé. This is a challenging perimeter, but at the heart of Safran strategy, so I'm very happy.
Excellent. And you, Hervé, what can you comment?
Well, what I can comment is it's been 9 years now that I'm the head of Power Division. It's been a long and challenging but extremely interesting journey, with many integrations, huge growth. We were like 50 at the beginning, and now we are 2,700 with a huge development. So extremely interesting, but it's time to move on and to take another path. The second point is that I'm extremely confident that the transition with Bruno will be great, extremely smooth. As Bruno said, we've been working together for many years. He replaced me already. He succeeded to me in the past, so I'm asking for royalties now. I guess it's the minimum I should ask. But joke apart, it's really a great transition that we are managing together.
So now we can move on to the subject of our podcast today, which is new airborne mobility solutions. So, to set the scene, perhaps you could tell us what the skies of tomorrow will look like. What exactly are these new ways of flying? And most important, are we likely to see airborne taxis over Paris for the next Olympic Games in 2024?
What is absolutely clear to me is that the future of aerospace will be different to what we know today. It's absolutely mandatory. You know how important decarbonation is for aerospace. So future skies tomorrow will be different. Now, what is tomorrow and how this will happen, I will try to explain a little bit. Clearly, we will start with new small aircraft. It's much easier to develop electrical aircraft when they are small, mainly linked to the weight constraint that is absolutely key in the aerospace world. And the batteries are not always as light as we should expect them to be. So the small aircrafts, they are flying today. And they will fly more and more electrical in the future. People are looking for that across the airports in many regions, many areas in the world. So this will happen for sure. And then this will move progressively towards hybridization of regional and single-aisle. Regarding your question on the Olympic Games, my position is that yes, you will see air taxi flying, but not too many, and not for public transportation. You will see mainly demonstration. You may have to become an athlete for these Olympic Games if you want to fly on this air taxi. Okay. But there will be some demonstration for sure. We have the solutions. The certification of the VTOL, so the air taxi, is a challenge.
Okay. Well, thanks for the encouragement of being an athlete. I'm not sure I will succeed, but anyway. What about you, Bruno? Not about being an athlete, but on this future of airborne mobility.
But beyond the decarbonation, I do believe that there are some strong expectations from the public for new mobilities. Simply because people do not want to spend time in overjammed traffic. They want to fly from city to city without spending time in a big hub, in a big airport, in a big city. So direct transportation from town to town. And as you know, the logistics, the goods transportation is increasing very fast simply because we are used to buy on internet and so on. So there will be some needs in the future, so new needs. Okay, and here what is interesting is that we will have in the same time to meet some very aggressive, very stringent requirements regarding carbon emission and particle emission. And here what is interesting is that the technology is here. Okay, so we have a perfect synchronization between the needs of the public and the technology readiness.
So among all of these possible uses of airborne mobility, which do you think will be all electric and which will be hybrid, Hervé?
Okay, so the first one that will be full electrical are the ones that are the smallest platforms. So typically trainers, like 2 packs, 4 packs type of aircraft. Then progressively 9 packs, 19 packs. They will be full electrical because the density of the battery is capable to provide a reasonable range. But even if the solution is not full electrical, and we don't really care at Safran because we've got the solution both electrical and hybrid, the hybrid solution is going to be very interesting for other type of platform and bigger ones, typically the regional aircraft. By putting together an electrical motor with the complete electrical chain and a thermal engine, you can reduce drastically the consumption of the aircraft, typically up to 40%, for example, which is huge.
Yeah.
Exactly. Another example, which is the most strategic one for Safran, is the hybridization of the next generation of CFM engine, the RISE project between Safran Aircraft Engine and GE.
Yes, there was a podcast recently about that.
Absolutely.
The previous...
I listened to it and it's very good. What we will do is we will embed in the thermal engines 2 electrical motors, one on the low spool and one on the high spool. And this will allow a clear reduction of consumption. So you see from small platform to bigger ones, electrical will be part of the solution, not the only solution, as Bruno will tell you probably, but part of the solution.
Yeah, so it's really key to the future of aviation in general.
That's what we believe, yes.
Yeah. The next question is for you, Bruno. Could you tell us more about the different hybrid concepts that are currently under development at Safran for both helicopters and planes?
Okay, I will answer for Safran Helicopter Engines, but globally speaking, hybridization relies on 3 pillars. The first one is what we call the eco mode. Actually, this concept, this solution is quite simple. It's equivalent to what you have in your car. When you stop at the red light, your engine stops automatically and restarts automatically at the green light. Yeah. This is the same concept for a twin helicopter engines. During the cruise phase, you have the ability to put one of the 2 engines in what we call sleeping mode. And you have the ability to restart it in a very short period of time thanks to the electrical power, an electric motor, very efficient. The other one is what we call the electric boost. This is what Hervé was mentioning earlier. This is a combination during a given period of time of the electrical power working in parallel with thermal power. And the third one is a well-known distributed architecture where a turbo generator associated with a pack of batteries is supplying the power to a network of e-motor. It can be used for a VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing, or a multi-rotor STOL, short takeoff and landing, a fixed wing. And just for an example, we are working together with Safran Group, with Safran Electrical and Power, on the EcoPulse project, which is a multi-rotor STOL that will fly by the end of this year.
Thank you, Bruno. Do you want Hervé to comment on the working together process between the 2 companies?
Yeah, so we are working a lot with Safran Helicopter Engines. So typically on a turbo generator, we have a product family which is named Genius in our Safran Electrical and Power roadmap. So it's a generator. Basically, what we do is we feed this generator on a turbine from Safran Helicopter Engine. And by doing so, we are able to provide electricity, generate electricity. We are working as well with Safran Aircraft Engines. And here we are using the 2 main product families that we have. So the same Genius, but another one which is Ingenious, which is the electrical motor. And To connect all that, we need two additional pieces of the puzzle, I would say. So the first one is the battery itself. So we are developing Genius Pack, which is the solution to provide the right batteries. And another one, which is how to manage this complete electrical and hybrid chain. It's a very complex system. And this one, the last one, is going to be absolutely key for the safety and the certification of the aircraft.
How do you work to take up the challenge raised by the aviation of the future? When will we be able to climb ourselves into these new aircraft or helicopters in our day-to-day lives?
I would insist on three main challenges that are absolutely key. The first one is innovation. We have a lot of constraints, weight constraints, safety constraints. So we need to develop solutions that are not available today. Sometimes people tell me, you just have to use electrical motors from industry or automotive car. It doesn't work like this. We cannot embed electrical motors that won't have the right level of performance nor the right level of safety. The second point is we don't really care about demonstration. There are many people doing demonstration, what I would say, in their gardens, in protected area. What we really care about is business for the future and real solutions to the market. And to get there, we need to get something that is certifiable. So we have developed a complete organization, a certification organization, supported by our colleagues from helicopter engine and aircraft engines that are used to certifying their motors. So we are investing in this certification, and it's an ongoing process. And the third challenge is the production system. We will probably have to deliver higher volume compared to usual aerospace business. High quality for sure, and low cost by definition. And this will come only with a very efficient production system. And here we are using the experience of the guys from the automotive industry that have learned a lot and that are able to tell us how to do that.
Which players are you working with on these new products?
We are working with big aerospace actors, classical one, I would say, but also with a lot of newcomers, of startups. It's kind of a Tesla effect. Some of them want to take part of this new market and take benefits from the disruptive technologies. So it's very interesting because they are very different from us. They are very, agile, very flexible, and we have to learn working with them. So we are working on our flexibility as well. And by the way, we need to take the benefits of both worlds. They are totally complementary. We need to take the flexibility of the startup, but also to keep one of our basic skill, and the most important, the ability to certify such complex aircrafts.
Perhaps one last question for both of you. What will be the next steps on all of those projects?
We have flown quite a lot already with our products. Now it's time for certification. So we are just in the middle of the certification of the Ingenious 100, which is the electrical motor for the trainers, typically. And it's going to be certified mid next year. The second big challenge is all the automated machines supporting our production systems are currently being developed. They will be available this year, and we're going to have the first full manufacturing line available next year.
And for you, Bruno, as part of Safran Helicopter Engines right now?
Simple. Fly and certify, fly and certify, fly and certify. We're going to fly with the EcoPulse by the end of this year, as mentioned earlier. And we will fly the EcoMod next year on the racer demonstrator developed by Airbus Helicopter.
Thank you very much to both of you, Hervé Blanc and Bruno Bellanger, for appearing on today's Radar. And we will be back soon for a new edition of Radar. Stay tuned.